everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be ranking every MCU project so far, and it's not in any particular order. I think it ends with Spider-Man Brand New Day, but obviously the shows are after the movie, so we're just going to rank them. I'll try to go in order. So, starting the MCU, the first movie we have is obviously Iron Man from 2008, and obviously this movie gets put in S tier because it's a movie that started it all. It started the MCU. Robert Downey Jr. does a good job. Everyone in this movie does a good job. This movie, I saw it a little bit later. We'll get into the first Marvel movie I saw in a bit, but this came out, I think, 9 days after I was born. And so, I am older than the movie itself, but it's still a good movie from that year. This helped kickstart the MCU, was one of the many early Marvel films. Now we go on to Incredible Hulk, and I think it goes in C tier. I really do not like this movie. I think Edward Norton is fine as the Hulk, but I really like Mark Ruffalo way better. They brought the leader back for Captain America Brave New World, and I just don't like it. But it's an alright movie. I can't rewatch it. I just don't like it. Iron Man 2 goes in S tier as well, because it's another movie where it's a sequel to a great movie, and it's also a great movie. I love the villain. Whiplash is a fantastic villain. Justin Hammer, great villain too. He's just in Iron Man 2 also has Don Cheadle as War Machine. So I like Don Cheadle as War Machine. I didn't like the other guy. Terrence Howard, I think his name is. He wanted too much for his role. But yeah, also now we're moving on to I don't know if it's Norse. I think it's Norse. We're moving on to Thor. Where'd it go? Moving on to Thor. We're going A tier. Now, it's an alright movie. I mean, I like this one better than Thor the Dark World, which we'll get into later. But this movie, pretty good movie, sets up Thor. My favorite scene is another, where he throws the coffee cup down in the shop. I think Natalie Portman does a good job as Jane Foster. Kat Dennings as Darcy. Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Such a fantastic cast with fantastic characters. The rewatchability on this is like a 6, but I like it. It's a good movie. I think I've maybe rewatched it like 3 times, whereas these other Iron Man 1 and 2 I've rewatched like 10 times. But Thor's a really good way to start off his character. Now we go on to the first Avenger, Captain America. I don't know what's going on with my thing, but Captain America goes in S tier. Captain America is going in S tier. He was the first Avenger. Red Skull as a villain's amazing. This sets up Cap, gets stuck in the ice. Haley Atwell is Peggy Carter, Captain Carter, amazing. Chris Evans does a great job. And then there's James Buchanan Barnes, which saddest story in the MCU. I'm gonna say it right now. The train scene is my favorite scene. I also like the joke when he's saving Bucky and his platoon, where he's like, "I knocked out Adolf Hitler over 200 times." I think that was a really funny line. I mean, it wasn't. It's funny, but it's also just because he does the stage play. But anyways, Captain America, the first Avenger, goes in S tier. Now we have Avengers 1, our first Avengers movie. I'm going to put Avengers 1 in A tier. The reason it's not in S tier is because the other Avengers movies are way better. than Avengers 1, but Avengers 1 still has a solid start. There's so many good scenes from this. Loki was a good villain. All the team's banter. The classic I'm always angry. Tony flying the stuff into the wormhole. This was a fantastic movie for 2012. And I think that caps off Phase 1, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to... Phase 1 of MCU. Yeah, 2008 to 2012. So that was a good way to cap off Phase 1 of the MCU. Now moving on to Iron Man 3, 2013. Again, I'm going to put an A. No, A. I'm putting it in A below the Avengers. Now, this is my favorite of the Iron Man movies, but there's a reason it's not in S tier. Is because I feel like the Mandarin and Aldrich Killian were such lame villains, and I know that might be a hot take, but I did not like the Mandarin as a villain. He did make an appearance, Trevor Slider, he did make an appearance in Wonder Man, and we'll get to that later. I just don't think the Mandarin or Aldrich Killian's a good villain. But the kid played by Ty Simpkins, one of my favorite characters in this movie. One of my favorite scenes is, honestly, I hate working here, they're so weird. Also, that scene at the end with the Iron Man suits, peak. Now, Thor the Dark World. Thor the Dark World is going at D. Putting it in D tier. Don't like this movie at all. Villains are flat. I hate the acting. I mean, the acting's fine, but I just don't like the story. His mom dies, obviously, big plot point, but I don't like it. Captain America Winter Soldier. I feel like all the Captain America movies will be in S tier. Like, they're just so good. No! Okay, it's an S. Love the return of Bucky. The whole thing about the Hydra taking over S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra taking over S.H.I.E.L.D. Black Widow, Captain America, his stealth suit is awesome. The reveal in the street where he goes, Bucky, and then he goes, Bucky goes, who the hell is Bucky? Great scene. So gruesome too. Like when the guy gets thrown into a semi-truck. But I like this movie. It's a fine movie, fun to rewatch. Now we're on to... Now, Showtime a-holes on to Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going into B. Now, the reason this isn't B and not any higher or lower, it's a good starting movie for a team, but I think the other two are so much better than the first one. Obviously, Rocket is good. All the characters are good. But I think my favorites are Groot, and Rocket, and Star-Lord. And this is just a funny movie. Because it shows the team dynamic between the Guardians, obviously Gamora, the daughter of Thanos. Daughter of Thanos, Nebula, Rocket when he's has some sad scenes. Also the scene where he's like, "You're making me beat up grass," is one of the funniest scenes from Rocket in that movie. Also Drax is hilarious. It's a good movie, but I'm not putting it lower than B and higher than B. It's just in the middle. And now we go Avengers Age of Ultron. This goes in S tier. Now, this was actually the first Marvel movie I ever saw, and I saw it in theaters. I think me and my mom went a day after release, and it was packed. I was like 7 or 8. This movie was amazing. Wanda Maximoff, best character in this movie. Love Vision. I actually have a Lego set of the Hulkbuster when he's taking him down in, I don't remember what country. I think it's not Wakanda. I don't remember. But that scene was just good. I love this whole movie. This whole movie's good. And being an Avengers film, it kind of puts into perspective the stuff that they're able to do as a team. Like at the beginning of the movie when they're taking down Hydra. Also, that gives us one of the funniest language. That's one of the funniest moments in that movie. And then I also like how it showcased Cap trying to lift Mjolnir, and he almost did. But I think the reason he didn't is because he didn't want to make Thor look bad. And so that shows up in Endgame, where they kind of like wanted to showcase Cap's true power. In Age of Ultron, just didn't want to show it fully. Alright, now we're going on to Ant-Man. And Ant-Man gets an A. This is such a funny movie. Ant-Man is actually the reason the entire world... Well, the Rat and Ant-Man are the entire world reason why the world got snapped back. If it wasn't for Ant-Man, they wouldn't have done the time heist. They wouldn't have done any of that stuff. But looking at the first Ant-Man movie, solid origin story, I could rewatch this more than I could rewatch Hulk, because Hulk is bad and Ant-Man is good. But this sets up his character to go into our next movie, which is Civil War, and that gets an S tier. Civil War is the perfect movie. I feel like Civil War should have been titled Avengers Civil War instead of Captain America Civil War, because it feels more like an Avengers movie than a Captain America movie. But you know, that was fine. Like the team building, the fight between Iron Man, Captain America, this is where Spider-Man gets introduced. Spider-Man might be my favorite character in this movie besides Bucky. And so it has some funny moments, has some sad moments. Funny moment is when the whole fight was with Falcon, Bucky, and Spider-Man, where Spider-Man casually just grabs Bucky's metal arm and says, "Metal arm? That is awesome, dude." Also "Hey buddy, I think you lost this," and then throws an entire beam at Bucky and almost kills him. Yeah, that was a funny part. But it's such a good movie. All these movies are good. Obviously some are worse than others, but what is really bad is when we get into the TV shows. Now we go Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange gets an S tier. And this gets an S tier because, look, there's only 2 Doctor Strange movies. I just think Doctor Strange is the most overpowered character in this thing. I mean, he is the reason that he appears in Doctor Strange 1, Thor Ragnarok, which is 2 movies from now. He also appears in he has a second movie. He appears in No Way Home. He's the main pivotal part of Endgame when their portals are coming back. He's just a super integral part of this entire storyline. And for him, his movie was good. I love the Ancient One. I love Caecilius. Who plays Caecilius? I forgot. I don't even know how you spell. Yes, Mads Mikkelsen. He is also known as Galen Erso on Rogue One. But we have Benedict Cumberbatch, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Mordo. And he's also in my favorite horror movie of this year besides Obsession. He plays Captain Clark. He plays Clark. Rachel McAdams, Benedict Wong, Tilda Swinton, Scott Adkins. They're all great actors and great characters. Ancient One is a good character. More powerful than Doctor Strange, I would believe. Also, I just can't explain enough about this movie. It's so good. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But now we're on to Showtime A-Holes again, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And this movie gets an A. I'm going to put it above Thor and Ant-Man. This movie gets an A instead of a B because it takes your expectations from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and multiplies it by 2. I love the villain. I love Ego. The part at the beginning where they're fighting the space monster and Groot's just dancing in the background. Such a good movie. Such a good scene, intro. Then there's the part where they're with the High Priestess and Rocket steals the batteries, and then they get attacked, and Drax, and they're like, why are they attacking us? And then Drax goes, probably because Rocket stole some of their batteries. Dude! Oh, he didn't steal some of those. I don't know why they're after us. What a mystery this is. Drax is the funniest character in this movie, by far. Also, Mantis, great inclusion. She's also super helpful. This movie is... I saw this in theaters. I'm gonna go through this list right now and see which ones I have seen in theaters. So, Age of Ultron, I've seen. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I saw in theaters. And I think that's it for right now. I think that's it for right now. That's all I've seen in theaters. Now we're on to Spider-Man Homecoming. S tier. S tier above Doctor Strange in the middle of Civil War. This is after Civil War, directly after, I think. And Civil War set up Spider-Man's character. Tom Holland does an incredible job as Peter Parker. In fact, Stan Lee said Tom Holland was the right age and whatever, perfect person for when he envisions Peter Parker as Spider-Man. And so he's amazing as Spider-Man. I think the villain, Adrian Toomes the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton, is good. Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, those are MJ and Ned. They all did an amazing job acting in this movie. Also, Peter wanting to feel like he belongs, to fight the Vulture, to fight villains. Also, Tony Stark makes an appearance in this movie, which is a good cameo. Happy. Peter just wants to be something bigger than what he is now. He wants to... after Civil War, he just wanted to fight other villains that are like Cap, basically. And he just feels like he doesn't belong in the world at the moment, and then that's why he fights the Vulture. And then Tony delivers his... where he's like, if I'm nothing without the suit. And then Tony's like, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. Which then leads Peter to use his his homemade suit for the final battle. Shows who he really is. And then concludes the movie. They also smashed the Death Star in that video. And as a Lego fan, disappointing. And then that whole party scene. Donald Glover as Aaron Davis. That's my favorite scene from the movie, when Peter's interrogating him, where he's like, I heard you by the bridge, I know what a girl sound like. And he goes, I'm not a girl, I'm a boy. I mean, I'm a man. I think that's just a funny scene that they included. So far, we have had no F tier movies of the ranking yet, but soon that will come. Now we have Thor Ragnarok. I'm putting it in A, above Iron Man 3, but Thor Ragnarok is a great film. It sets up Asgard getting destroyed. Hela is an absolute great villain. Thor learns his true potential, where after Hela smashes his hammer and during the final battle, he learns that he has the power within him all along. Odin gives him are you Thor, the god of hammers? And then it sets his character up even more than it did before. Thor the Dark World, this is better than Thor the Dark World. And so, it sets up his character to be more than he could ever be. Where he learns his true potential, defeats Hela. Scourge is also a great character, where he sacrifices himself, played by Carl Urban, Billy Butcher. Where he, So, Thor Ragnarok goes in A. Great movie, better than Thor the Dark World, but not as good as Thor 1. Now we're moving on to Black Panther, and I'm putting it in A, S tier. And the reason I put Black Panther in S tier is because it is just a great movie. Michael B. Jordan. He does a fantastic job as playing Killmonger. And also, gotta say it right now, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. You know, this movie really couldn't have worked with any other actor to play Black Panther other than Chadwick Boseman. So R.I.P. But he really does a good job as T'Challa, Black Panther. Civil War, I think he's good. But this movie is an all-around good. All the cast, the water fight. I don't really remember this movie that much. I rewatched it, but I just don't remember. But this movie is a great, fantastic movie that I could rewatch over and over and over. It is that good. Now, on to Avengers 3 Infinity War. Now, Infinity War has to go in S tier. I am putting Infinity War in S tier because this is a fantastic movie. I'm going to have the hot take and say this is better than Endgame. Infinity War is better than Endgame. So, get your pitchforks and torches out. But I think there are stakes in this movie. Thanos needs the Infinity Stones to snap everyone out of it, snap half of existence out. Loki getting killed at the beginning was a shock. This is also where they didn't give Captain America a signature shield. Hulk gets his ass kicked by Thanos in the opening. The scariest part is when they're like, Thanos is coming, he's coming. And then they have that fight in New York with Cole Obsidian and Ebony Maw, between Tony Wong, Strange, and Hulk and Spider-Man. Then Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange get sucked up into that giant tire ship, and then that leads to them going to fight the Guardians. Then the Guardians and them working together on Titan, and then just them all the Avengers collectively working together. And then the saddest part is when everyone gets sussed away, especially Spider-Man was like, I don't want to go, Mr. Stark, please. And then I did see a thing about his Spidey senses were detecting the snap, but his Spidey senses were so high he couldn't detect what was going on. And so I think that was a really, really, really interesting detail that they put into the movie. And then they just... Hold on one sec. Just to explain that, they didn't explain it in the movie, but you just knew that something bad was going to happen. And so, that movie gets an S tier. Now we go to Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't want to be harsh, but I also do want to honestly rank these movies. No, B. Ant-Man and the Wasp gets a B because this is a worthy sequel where I think this is the one with... But if this is supposed to be right after Civil War, I'm pretty sure, but it came so much later. So this is where Scott is on house arrest. Also Ghost comes in. I don't remember the plot of this one either. I just remember it being worse than the first, but better than the third. And so I'm just going to put it at B with, I can't explain why. Captain Marvel, C. I don't like this movie as much as I did. Obviously, I like Ben Mendelsohn as Talos. He's a good actor. Samuel Jackson as Nick Fury. Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. They're all fine actors. I just think the plot differs here and there. Also, they gave Stan Lee's memorial intro at the beginning of this movie, which I think is really cool, but they should have put it at the beginning of Endgame instead of this movie. Like, how perfect would it have been if they put Stan Lee's cameo, or his intro, at the last movie he cameoed in? That would have been so much better than what they did with Captain Marvel the intro for that. But you can't pick and choose. Now we go to Avengers Endgame, where I'm going to put it in S tier. This is a great conclusion to the Infinity Saga. Wait, Spider-Man should be after. Great conclusion to the Infinity Saga, which not really the conclusion. I don't know why they did a Spider-Man movie for it, but it's a good movie. The quantum realm stuff is great. Obviously, it has some sad moments. Natasha dies. Iron Man dies. Gamora doesn't remember who Star-Lord is. So it's all a very sad, sad movie. But for the story, it needed to happen that way. And I know that it's sad, but if it was anybody other than Iron Man that died, people would have gotten mad. People still got mad over Iron Man dying, but, you can't pick and choose. So, this movie has to go in S tier. So far, S tier movies are Iron Man 2, Captain America 1, Captain America 2, Age of Ultron, Civil War, Homecoming, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Infinity War, Endgame. But now, moving on to possibly, all of Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies are good. But Far From Home is probably my least favorite out of the four now. It sets up Mysterio as a good guy, but then he, at the end, is a bad guy. Peter's also an idiot in this one. Why would he give the glasses that Tony Stark left for him to a random guy he barely knows that gave some BS story about, I don't know. Peter's just a dummy in this one. But he also tries to gain the attention of MJ. It gives me one of my favorite suits, which is the stealth suit, the Night Monkey. That's what they said on the news. And the news never lies. And then Flash being an a-hole to him, where he's like, Spider-Man inspires me to be a better person. Sup, wad? He's such an a-hole to Peter the whole movie. And I laughed when Peter was getting the glasses off of Flash and smacked him in the face. Because Peter doesn't know his own strength. That little slap he did to Flash was like Flash getting punched in the face by Dave Bautista. That slap probably hurt him. You could see when he was getting up, he was like, God dang. Now we move on to one of my favorite movies of 2021. Black Widow gets an A tier rating because after Endgame, where'd it go? What? Oh, it's right here. After Endgame, we didn't really get that much of Black Widow besides this movie, and I feel like this was a great way to show her again, but be integral to the story. They did a prequel, which I think was really cool, after Civil War. Black Widow's really just a fantastic character. It brought in my favorite two characters, Yelena and Alexei, played by David Harbour and Florence Pugh. David Harbour's obviously known for Stranger Things as Chief Jim Hopper, and then Florence Pugh is known for a bunch of stuff. But this was a good way to bring Scarlett Johansson back too. And then I don't know, this movie just. I like the Taskmaster villain, but her design, terrible. The comics one is much more cool, or is much cooler. My English was not Englishing. And, the plot kind of differs here and there. It's still a fantastic movie. And now, on to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. It gets an S tier. Shang-Chi gets an S tier. I don't know if I think I saw this one in theaters too. I just remember being blown away by this movie. Shang-Chi, Awkwafina, I don't know if she was in anything before this, I can't remember honestly, but Awkwafina's in too much shit now. Why does she have to be cast in every animated movie ever? She just has that recognizable voice. She was also cast in Jumanji. Simu Liu is returning as Shang-Chi in Avengers Doomsday, which I think is really cool, where he fights Gambit. And he did a fantastic job in this movie. Wenwu is a good villain. Yeah, anyways, that's enough of talk about that movie, because I don't think of anything else. Eternals. Moving on. Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home. This might be... it's so hard. This is not my favorite of the four Tom Holland movies. but it is a good movie. I feel like this is the only Spider-Man movie where there are consequences to Peter's actions. I'm also siding with Doctor Strange on this one. Peter should have just sent the villains home. Like, Peter was an idiot during this movie too, not as much as Far From Home, but he was like, at least if we'll give them a second chance. A second chance at what? To kill Spider-Man? Like, Peter, you're not thinking clearly. Doctor Strange was actually right. And then Aunt May dying, sad. Like, that made me cry a lot. And then, I'm getting into the best stuff soon, but his whole 3 movies, Spider-Man, Homecoming, Far From Home, and this movie, were all his origin story. I liked how they didn't show us him getting bit by the spider, because we've seen that twice now with Tobey and Andrew, who are actually in this movie. Remember the whole phrase of Andrew Garfield saying, "I'm not in the movie, it's Photoshop." Bullshit. Like, Tim and Tobey were so good to see on the scene in this movie together. All 3 Spider-Man work incredibly well. And the villains, Doc Ock, Goblin, Sandman, Electro, Lizard, all great villains. Then we have the post-credit scene of Eddie Brock. Also, there are some things I want to talk about with this that I saw videos of online. Number 1, why wasn't Topher Grace's Venom in this movie if it was him and Sandman's universe? I feel like then there would have been too many villains. I think that's why they didn't. And also, I saw a video on this. I don't remember who said it, but Electro shouldn't have been in that movie, and here's why. We all know that the spell brings in everyone who knows Peter Parker's Spider-Man from every universe, but the problem with that is Electro didn't know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man until he got all the electricity out of him and Andrew took off his mask in this movie. Because, remember what Jamie Foxx as Electro said? He said, "You're a nice kid, had good hair, you help a lot of old people, I just thought you were going to be black." Because he didn't know Peter Parker. See, that's my main gripe with this. And then he also mentioned Miles, which we haven't gotten yet. This is a fantastic Spider-Man movie. Now we're moving on to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. A tier. Wanda as a villain is such a good villain. She's fantastic. Also the Illuminati with Mordo, Captain Marvel, Reed Richards, John Krasinski, Reed Richards, not the new Reed Richards. But this movie is just fantastic. Everyone hates on Multiverse of Madness a lot, and I don't see the point in hating on it. It's just, people just hate for no reason. This movie is fantastic. Black Bolt, when she's like, "What mouth?" and then he just screams anyways, that was kind of stupid. But, yeah, this movie's alright. It's not my favorite of the 2 Strange movies or the entire series, but it's a fantastic movie. Now we are on to Thor: Love and Thunder, and I might get some hate for this, but I'm putting it in A tier. I don't care. You can yell at me all you want. I think it is far better than Thor: The Dark World. The last 30 minutes with all the kids when they're like electrifying, it makes the tree when he zaps them with lightning, the fight against Gore, the sad moment of when his daughter dies at the beginning, him basically wanting to kill all the gods. Also, what's funny is Jane kept Mjolnir in the custody battle, and then we see Stormbreaker acting up when Thor takes the lightning bolt, and Stormbreaker like acts up, and he's like, "Oh no, this will be better with you, Valkyrie." Is such a funny detail where Stormbreaker gets jealous of all the weapons Thor uses. But Thor 1, Thor Ragnarok, and Thor: Love and Thunder all in A tier, and then Dark World's in F. Yeah, I don't have anything more to say about that. Now we're on to Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and I am putting it in C. I think Namor is a fine villain. I think they're all fine villains, but this movie's alright. I don't really like it. I saw this one in theaters. I just don't have anything to say about it, really, because it's just not like a likable Black Panther film. Them having Ironheart in it was the biggest waste of space ever. Which her show's not even good. We'll get to that later. But it's whatever. On to Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. D. They could have done so much better with this. But Kang was a good villain, and I like Doomsday better, but I feel like I would have wanted to see how Kang unfolded. But honestly, Jonathan Majors beat his wife, and so he got fired from Marvel, and so this movie was a lead up to nothing. Also, I didn't need to hear about the times that his wife got freaky with Bill Murray. Like, we didn't need that in the movie. But also, Catherine Newton as Cassie Lang is an alright casting. Darren being MODOK, which I feel like they just wanted to introduce MODOK. Like, they didn't need it to be Darren Cross. It could have actually been MODOK. But then Darren goes this whole movie of trying to not be a dick, like Cassie tells him to do. This is just... Also, at the end fight between Kang and Scott, it looks like Scott's getting his ass beat, but then he needs to overpower Kang for the movie to work, and Kang would have just flattened him out like a pancake in that movie. And I think that fight was bullcrap. Alright, enough hating. On to Guardians 3, my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I saw this one in theaters too. Not the Marvels, we'll get to that later. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in theaters, and I'm putting it above above Shang-Chi and No Way Home. Them all collectively trying to kill the High Evolutionary. Rocket's backstory, super sad. When all the animals get killed, oh my god, so sad. I cried at that scene in the theater. And then him finally getting the line where he says, "My name's Rocket." Rocket Raccoon. Great cinema. Has some of the best needle drops in. Hold on, let me actually get my DVD. Sorry, not DVD, CD. Like Creep, the needle drop of Creep, Crazy on You, Since You've Been Gone, In the Meantime, Realize, No Sleep Till Brooklyn, and Dog Days Are Over are the top ones. And then Come and Get Your Love at the end. It's just a good soundtrack. I have the entire soundtrack on CD, and I listen to it nearly every night before I go to bed. It's a fantastic movie. They all go their separate ways at the end, with Mantis going with those monsters from Guardians 2. Also, it reveals that the High Evolutionary, I don't know what his goals were. He just wanted the perfect world, I think, is what I remember. And then, also, they all discover who they are. Gamora returns in this movie, but this movie's just fantastic. And now we're on to the Marvels. Moving on. Don't need to explain why this is bad, just go watch the movie. Now we're on to Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, this movie is a hard decision for me to put. There's so many S-tier movies. I feel like I need to put more movies in here, but I can't. All my opinions are valid. Deadpool and Wolverine is a fantastic movie. I'm putting it above No Way Home. And this movie, it really, like the opening with the bye 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 dance scene at the beginning is so good. Sean Levy directing this movie was really good. I've heard some people say they don't like Sean Levy directing, but honestly, he's fine. He directed the middle episodes of Stranger Things, I'm pretty sure, and seasons 1 and 2 are fantastic. So the rest of the show's fantastic too, with some flaws, but yeah, it's just a fantastic movie. I shouldn't be saying that because something else fantastic's coming up, but this movie, I love Hugh Jackman, Channing Tatum as Gambit, Elektra, Blade, X-23. They're all work together. The scenes with Deadpool and Wolverine, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, the Madonna Like a Prayers, or like a, yeah. What? No, not, it's not Like a Prayer. It's Oh my god, why am I blanking on the name? Why am I blanking on this name right now? I have to go to my Spotify. I'm such an idiot. I'm making me look bad. Yeah, it is like a prayer. I'm not an idiot. Yeah, It's just good that scene where they're demolishing all the Deadpools and then Blind Owl going, "I wish I were deaf," is a fantastic scene. But this movie is so good. I don't need to explain why it's good. It's just good. Now we're on to Captain America: Brave New World. Ah, ah, ah. B. The reason why it's in B and not in A is because I have a few problems with this movie. The problem I have with this movie is, why was Red Hulk on all the marketing? I get why he was to get people into the theaters, but I feel like it would have been a much better reveal if he turned into the Red Hulk in the movie instead of you seeing him in the trailer, on the marketing, and everywhere else for the movie. Also, R.I.P. William Hurt. He would have played Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, as I like to call him, but Harrison Ford also does a good job too. I love Harrison Ford as an actor. I wish I could I want to meet him one day. And I know he hates Han Solo. That's like his most recognizable role besides Indiana Jones. And I just didn't mention Robert Redford once in any of the Captain America movies because, he's also a good actor, R.I.P. There's so many people we've lost in movies. We haven't lost Harrison Ford yet, but I hope we don't, but everyone goes at some point. But Harrison Ford, being the actor that he is, he portrayed a Thunderbolt Ross in this movie perfectly. I don't think if they recasted anyone else, Harrison Ford was the right choice. I like Joaquin Torres Falcon. I like Sam Wilson, Sonny Ring. Yeah, that that meme is so stupid, but it's just funny. Giancarlo Esposito as Sidewinder, which I felt like from the comics, Sidewinder is... I need a refresher of who Sidewinder is. No, not Wonder. Sidewinder. I don't know why my Google does this. Marvel supervillain, founder of Serpents. Yeah, I feel like this is him in the comics, and then in Brave New World, it's just words. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like they could have done better. Also, I have the Lego set with Red Hulk in it. I love that big figure. Excuse me. That big figure is amazing. Ruth Bat-Sarath was another kind of weird inclusion for this movie. She's also really short, and they gave her normal minifig legs. But also, it's just... This movie... this movie is all right. B tier is what I would give it. I put it above Spider-Man, which I think it is better than Spider-Man. I saw this one in theaters on Valentine's Day, so that's how I spent my Valentine's Day. Don't clip that! But that's how I spent my Valentine's Day, was watching this movie. Now we're on to Thunderbolts. And this follows the events of Brave New World, and I'm putting it in S tier. This movie is fantastic. Not using that word yet. This movie is amazing. I think all the cast members did good. Wyatt Russell is U.S. agent. David Harbour is Alexei Shostakov, Red Guardian. Florence Pugh is Yelena. Sebastian Stan is Bucky. Hannah John Kamen as Ghost. Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. I just think all of these characters are good. Marvel reached a high... Every time Marvel does a movie, it goes low, high, low, high, low, low, high. There's no balance at all. And after you've noticed, I haven't done the TV shows yet. We're going to do that after all the movies. But Thunderbolts is such a good movie. I didn't see this in theaters because I didn't have enough money, but when I watched it on Disney Plus, it was blew my mind away. Alexei is my favorite part of this movie, beside and Yelena too, because he's my favorite character in Marvel right now. I can't wait to see him in Doomsday. Now we're on to Fantastic Four First Steps, and this is going in S tier too. I gotta say, this movie, it's fantastic. Yeah, this movie is fantastic. I can't stop saying it. Oh my god. This movie is amazing. I like Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. Johnny Storm is a great character in this movie, played by Joseph Quinn, who plays Eddie Munson in Stranger Things, my favorite Stranger Things character besides Dustin and Steve. And we've actually gotten 3 Stranger Things actors in the MCU. We got Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, aka Eddie Munson, David Arbor as Alexei, aka Hopper, and in Spider-Man Brand New Day, we just got Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, aka Max, and apparently they're eyeing Joe Keery for a role as Nova in a Nova movie. But this movie is honestly really good. I don't know why people hated it. Galactus, fantastic villain. Mole Man appearing in it was awesome. Pretty fantastic, if you ask me. Now we're on to Spider-Man Brand New Day, and it just keeps getting into the S tiers. This movie, no, S tier. I went into this movie completely, hyped up. Saw it with my friend. My main issue for this is they did a terrible job at hiding who Sadie Sink was playing. There was only one character she could have played. There's only one ginger X-Men with mind control powers, and that is Jean Grey. That being said, she did a fantastic job at being Jean Grey. Peter Parker, Tom Holland did a great job in this too. And then John Bernthal is the Punisher. I've actually met John Bernthal. I met him at Washington Summer Con, and I had a 5-minute conversation with him, but I didn't have enough money to get a picture. But just know that I met him, and it was one of the funniest, greatest experiences of my life meeting him. But this is the most current MCU project, and so that being said, time to get into the TV shows. We've ranked every movie. Time to rank every show, starting with WandaVision. Also, my mouth is hurting from all the talking. I am a yapper. We're starting with WandaVision, the first show on Disney Plus, I'm pretty sure, for Marvel. I put it in A. No, I want to put it in A. I'm putting it in A because it could have been better. I like Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness. Elizabeth Olsen, great job as Wanda. Monica Rambeau. James E. Woo. He finally learned to do the card trick from Ant-Man. This is just a good show. I rewatched it in one day, and I really like it. The Hex is a thing. Halloween episode, my favorite, is my favorite episode. But yeah, it's just an all-around great show. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is next, and I am putting that in B. The reason it is in B and not any higher is because I feel like they could have done better. I didn't like Sharon Carter being the power broker. I don't know why. It just wasn't something that I felt she was or anything. But I also like Bucky and Sam. But then the scene of U.S. agent John Walker killing the man in the street was kind of pissed me off, because that was stupid that he did that. But then I like the clip of them where he goes, "What big three?" The big three. Androids, aliens, and wizards. Who are you fighting now, Gandalf? How do you know about Gandalf? I read The Hobbit in 1939 when it first came out. That just shows how old Bucky is, and that's hilarious. On to Loki. I'm gonna move him up. Hold on, hold up. Loki goes in A tier. I mean, we haven't had any shows in the S tier yet. Loki goes in A tier because it's a fine. This is also representing every season of the show. On the website I got these posters from, it had the thing for the show. It had the thing for the show, season 1 and season 2. But I'm looking at these as a whole. But Loki is a fantastic show, going off of when he disappeared in 2012 in Endgame, which I think caused an incursion. I don't know if that's the right word, but Loki is a fantastic villain turned hero. He's going to save the day in Doomsday, whereas Tony's going to destroy it. But it's a fantastic show. There's nothing else to say about it. Sylvie, good. Loki variant's good. It's been a while since I've seen it. Now we're on to What If. In this movie, I'm going to move it up in a minute. Hold on, where is it? This goes in What If. Some people hate on this movie a lot, or on the show a lot, and I don't know why. It's just a fantastic show. It being a cartoon is kind of controversial, but it's alright. It's probably my favorite, series that they've done. Now on to Hawkeye. And this is a super underrated show, but it's going in A. Super underrated show. Kate Bishop is a good character in this, played by Haley Steinfeld. Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova makes an appearance. Hawkeye, it was nice. Hold on. He didn't get his own movie. Sorry. He didn't get his own movie, but at least he got a TV show, which I think is way better. But it's just a good underrated show. The dog, my favorite part is the dog. There's also the, hi, I made macaroni if you want some. Which is such a good scene. Now we're going to Moon Knight. And I'm putting Moon Knight in S tier. I'm not going to explain why. You just have to watch it for yourself. Now we're going to Miss Marvel. I think Miss Marvel is in C tier is fair. It was a good inclusion to the MCU, but it wasn't something that I was really fond of, if I want to say that. But I don't know. It's okay. Now we're on to She-Hulk. Okay, on to Werewolf by Night. This Werewolf by Night goes in A tier. I'll put it in B tier. I'll put it below Falcon or Brave New World. It was a good Halloween special, and I liked it. I just didn't really like it as much as I did any of these other things above it. But this is one I only watched one time. Even on my MCU rewatch, I didn't. Same with Guardian Special. I'll just say the same things. Guardian Special goes below Werewolf by Night. There's no reason for me to explain it. Those are kind of the same. Now we're going into Secret Invasion. I need to be more harsh with my rankings. I'm putting everything too high. But Secret Invasion goes in D tier. I just didn't like it. I felt it was too, slow. The Skrulls, Maria Hill gets shot. I don't know. It was all right. Not my cup of tea. Same goes for Echo. Making a spin-off series of a spin-off series is kind of stupid. I'm looking at you, Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage. How did that show get a season 3 when it's based off of a spin-off? When it's a spin-off of a spin-off of a show. Come on. Same with this show. Spin-off of the Hawkeye series. And the same thing I said about Secret Invasion can be said for Echo, except I don't even remember Echo that much. Now, X-Men 97. People are going to be mad if I don't put it S tier, but I'm going to answer honestly. It goes below Hawkeye. Sorry. I think it is a fantastic show. It's based off an old series, and I think all the characters are good. I'm just going to say that. Now, I can't honestly rank Agatha all along. I've only seen half of it. But the half that I did see was like C tier worthy. And the reason I just don't like it. I liked her character in WandaVision. I just didn't like the show. That's all I'm going to say. And then the Spider-Man. This show gets put in B tier. It was an okay show. I liked the animation style. I think it gives Peter Parker more, like, they can do more room or more stuff with an animation rather than they can with live action. And I view this as like a Spider-Verse thing. I don't know. It was good. Daredevil Born Again goes into, this is season 1 and season 2, mind you, goes in A tier above Hawkeye. Now, I do like the show. Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, Charlie Cox as Daredevil. I actually met all of the actors from this show. Charlie Cox I met. He was awesome to talk to, nice. Vincent D'Onofrio. Eldon Henson I got a autograph of on my Fulton Reed Funko Pop. He was cool too. There's nothing to say about the show. Him getting put in jail at the end of the season 2 was good. This whole show is just amazing. And now we move on to Ironheart. Ironheart. F tier. Sorry. If you like Ironheart, you're out of your mind. Ironheart was a terrible show. You think Tony Stark would be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire? Oh my god. Eyes of Wakanda. B tier. It was an okay show. I didn't like it as much as I did What If, but it was a fine show. It was good. Nothing else to say. Marvel Zombies. This is a spin-off of an episode from What If, but they were able to flush it out in more things to make it more. It was world building. I do like all the characters in this. Alexei. I think Yelena's in it too. I don't remember. I watched this 2 months ago in my rewatch. But it was a good move. It was a good show. Now, on to Wonder Man. Which this is directed by same guy who directed Shang-Chi and the new Spider-Man, Destin Daniel Cray. And Wonder Man, I gotta put it below Hawkeye and Daredevil, but above X-Men 97. It was an okay show. They were supposed to have a season 2. That's not happening now. I don't know why. There's some controversy around that. People really enjoyed it, wanted a season 2. But yeah, it's an okay show. Brings in Trevor Slattery back. Yeah, now that we have the Punisher, one last kill. This was the last project before Spider-Man, and I am putting it in S tier. Punisher is one of my favorite characters from Spider-Man, like I said earlier, and this 50-minute special just shows how broken Frank Castle is. The beginning scene where they throw the dog into the road and he gets hit by a car made me actually mad and sad. And then but Punisher gets justice for him at the end. The whole scene in the bodega part was amazing. Yeah, Punisher gets revenge on the guy who threw the guy's dog into the street. And he, shoots him. But, anyways, that is my ranking of every MCU project before they make more. This was kind of a thing for Doomsday. Also, I wanted to let you know that I have a podcast that I'm starting called Comic Relief Podcast. And I will put it at the end of the video if you want to go watch, if you want to go subscribe. There's nothing on it right now. but there will be soon. I'm going to do a Lego review. I want to get Obi Bricks on board because he's my favorite Lego content creator right now. But anyways, that is going to do it for the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.